Hello and welcome back to my channel where I talk about whatever I want on these live streams. My name is Chloe. This is the House of Chloe in the backyard. And today I would like to read to you Genesis 16 through 18 today. And in the Bible, this is the New King James Version. It's pretty okay at reading. I mean, it should be easier than King James Version, but also I stumble. How was your day? It was good. As always, you look fabulous. Thank you. So let's start at 16. There are about 2.5 pages worth of reading this Bible. All right, Hagar and Ishmael. Now Sarai, Abram's wife, had borne him no children, and she had an Egyptian maidservant whose name was Hagar. So Sarai said to Abram, "See now, the Lord has restrained me from bearing children. Please go into my maid. Perhaps I shall obtain children by her." And Abram healed the voice of Sarai. Then Sarai, Abram's wife, took Hagar, her maid, the Egyptian, and gave her to her husband, Abram to his wife. Wait, can you move? Excuse you. That's your leg hair. Can you move it? Thanks. Thank you. Can you move, baby? Okay. So, and gave her to her husband, Abram to his wife, after Abram had dealt 10 years in the land of Canaan. So he went into Hagar, and she conceived. This is what I don't condone about the Bible, is that there were handmaids where the handmaids did not have a choice but to do what, I don't know. I don't like servants either, but there's a lot of fighting and war and battles and everything as well. I don't know. Pretty crazy. And when she saw that she had conceived, her mistress became despised in her eyes. Then Sarai said to Abram, "My wrong be upon you. I gave my maid into your embrace, and when she saw that she had conceived, I became despised in her eyes. The Lord judge between you and me." So Abram said to Sarai, "Indeed, your maid is in your hand. Do to her as you please." And when Sarai dealt harshly with her, she fled from her presence. Can I mod? No, you can't be a mod. No mods in here. Okay, harshly with her, she fled from her presence. Now the angel of the Lord found her by a spring of water in the wilderness, by the spring on the way to Shur. And he said, "Hagar, Sarai's maid, where have you come from, and where are you going?" She said, "I am fleeing from the presence of my mistress Sarai." The angel of the Lord said to her, "Return to your mistress and submit yourself under her hand." Then the angel of the Lord said to her, "I will multiply your descendants exceedingly, so that they shall not be counted for multitude. And the angel of the Lord said to her, Behold, you are with child, and you shall bear a son. You shall call his name Ishmael, because the Lord has heard your affliction. Hi. Okay. Did you have a yes? I think. Check. I think. Yes, I think. Hi. He shall be a wild man. His hand shall be against every man, and every man's hand against him, and he shall dwell in the presence of all his brethren. Then, about the baby, I think. Then she called the name of the Lord who spoke to her, You are the God who sees. For she said, Have I also here seen him who sees me? Therefore the well was called Beer Lahai Rohi. Observe, it is between Kadesh and Bered. So Hagar bore Abram a son, and Abram named his son, whom Hagar bore, Ishmael. Abram was 86 years old when Hagar bore Ishmael to Abram. Why am I always reading? I'm reading the Bible in 1 year, so I have to read a little bit every day. See, I have a schedule. Next, the sign of the covenant. When Abram was 99 years old, the Lord appeared to Abram and said to him, I am Almighty God, walk before me and be blameless, and I will make my covenant between me and you and will multiply you exceedingly. Then Abram fell on his face, and God talked with him, saying, As for me, behold, my covenant is with you, and you shall be a father of many nations. No longer shall your name be called Abram, but your name shall be Abraham. For I have made you a father of many nations. I will make you exceedingly fruitful, and I will make nations of you, and kings shall come from you. And I will establish my covenant between me and you and your descendants. Descendants after you in their generations, for an everlasting covenant to be God to you and your descendants after you. Also I give to you and your descendants after you the land in which you are a stranger, all the land of Canaan, as an everlasting possession, and I will be their God. And God said to Abraham, As for you, you shall keep my covenant, you and your descendants after you throughout their generations. This is my covenant, which you shall keep between me and you and your descendants after you. Every male child among you shall be circumcised, and you shall be circumcised in the flesh of your foreskins, and it shall be a sign of the covenant between me and you. He who is 8 days old among you shall be circumcised, every male child in your generations. He who is born in your house or bought with money from any foreigner who is not your descendant, He who is born in your house and who is bought with your money must be circumcised, and my covenant shall be in your flesh for an everlasting covenant, and the uncircumcised male child who is not circumcised in the flesh of his foreskin, that person shall be cut off from his people. He has broken my covenant. Give it back. Explain, Grape Ape. Give what back? We just passed Noah's Ark. We did that whole series. You can go back to the other videos and listen to Noah's Ark. The C word. The C word was like said a lot. I don't have an OnlyFans. Man, Genesis is like 5 or 6 books in one, not the book I would recommend starting with. Well, that's the first book in the Bible, so here we go. Buckle up, baby. Oh, Noah's Ark is chapter 12, yeah. Okay, next. Then God said to Abraham, as for Sarai, your wife, you shall not call her name Sarai, but Sarah shall be her name, and I will bless her and also give you a son by her. Then I will... What? Abraham gets Sarai and Sarah and Hagar. It's crazy. Hi. And she shall be a mother of nations, kings of peoples shall be from her. Then Abraham fell on his face and laughed and said in his heart, shall a child be born to a man who is 100 years old, and shall Sarah, who is 90 years old, bear a child? And Abraham said to God, oh, that Ishmael might live before you. Then God said, no, Sarah, your wife, shall bear you a son, and you shall call his name Isaac. I will establish my covenant with him for an everlasting covenant, and with his descendants after him. And as for Ishmael, I have heard you. Behold, I have blessed him and will make him fruitful and will multiply him exceedingly. He shall begot 12 princes, and I will make him a great nation. But my covenant I will establish with Isaac, whom Sarah shall bear to you at this set time next year. Then he finished talking with him, and God went up from Abraham. I read both New International Version and ESV Bibles. So Abraham took Ishmael his son, all who were born in his house, and all who were bought with his money, every male among the men of Abraham's house, and circumcised the flesh of their foreskins that very same day as God had said to him. Abraham was 99 years old when he was circumcised in the flesh of his foreskin, and Ishmael his son was 15 years old when he was circumcised in the flesh of his foreskin. That very same day, Abraham was circumcised, and his son Ishmael, and all the men of his house born in the house or brought with money from a foreigner were circumcised with him. I have a story to tell. It's story time. So when I was a kid, or when I was younger, we would watch a lot of TV. Like my brothers and my sisters and stuff. And we would watch this show called Plastic, or some kind of plastic surgery show. And there was this one guy on there that I'm literally talking to 3 people. There was this one guy on there that was not circumcised, and his girlfriend was like, either you get it done or we're broken up. So basically he's like too active in that way, and it's like ruling over his life and stuff like that. So he ended up getting like a botched circumcision, and or something, I don't know, or either that or it fixed it. I don't know, but like there's a difference. Next is chapter 18. Okay. The son of promise. Then the Lord appeared to him by the terebinth trees of Mamre, as he was sitting in the tent door in the heart of the day. So he lifted his eyes and looked, and behold, 3 men were standing by him. And when he saw them, he ran from the tent door to meet them, and bowed himself to the ground, and said, My Lord, if I have now found favor in your sight, do not pass on by your servant. Please let a little water be brought, and wash your feet, and rest yourselves under the tree. And I will bring a morsel of bread, that you may refresh your hearts. After that you may pass by, in as much as you have come to your servant. They said, Do as you have said. So Abraham hurried into the tent to Sarah and said, Quickly make ready 3 measures of fine meal. Knead it and make cakes. And Abraham ran to the herd, took a tender and good calf, gave it to a young man, and he hastened to prepare it. So he took butter and milk and the calf which he had prepared, and set it before them, and he stood by them under the tree as they ate. Then they said to him, Where is Sarah your wife? So he said, Here in the tent. And he said, I will certainly return to you according to the time of life, and behold, Sarah your wife shall have a son. Sarah was listening in the tent door which was behind him. Now Abraham and Sarah were old, well advanced in age, and Sarah had passed the age of childbearing. Therefore Sarah laughed within yourself, saying, after I have grown old, shall I have pleasure, my Lord being old also? Question mark. Interesting. Pretty eyes. Thank y'all. All right. And the Lord said to Abraham, why did Sarah laugh, saying, shall I surely bear a child since I am old? Is anything too hard for the Lord? At the appointed time I shall return to you according to the time of life, and Sarah shall have a son. But Sarah denied it, saying, I did not laugh, for she was afraid. And he said, no, but you did laugh. Abraham intercedes for Sodom. Then the men rose from there and looked toward Sodom, and Abraham went with them to send them on the way. And the Lord said, shall I hide from Abraham what I am doing, since Abraham shall surely become a great and mighty nation, and all the nations of the earth shall be blessed in him, for I have known him in order that he may command his children and his household after him, that they keep the way of the Lord to do righteousness and justice, that the Lord may bring to Abraham what he has spoken to him. And the Lord said, because the outcry against Sodom and Gomorrah is great, and because their sin is very grave, I will go down now and see whether they have done altogether according to the outcry against it that has come to me, and if not, I will know. Do I like spicy chicken? Sometimes. That sounds good, actually. Does anyone realize that Mary, the mother of Jesus, was a teenager in those times? If a girl that was promised to a man cheated on him, she would either be banished or stoned to death. I think that they all knew that it was Jesus. You should smile more. Your smile illuminates everything. Your smile is just so beautiful. Yours too. Thanks for the advice. Then the men turned away from there and went toward Sodom, but Abraham still stood before the Lord. And Abraham came near and said, would you also destroy the righteous with the wicked? Suppose there were 50 righteous within the city, would you also destroy the place and not spare it for the 50 righteous that were in it? Far be it from you to do such a thing as this, to slay the righteous with the wicked, so that the righteous should be as the wicked. Far be it from you. Shall not the judge of all the earth do right? So the Lord said, If I find in Sodom 50 righteous within the city, then I will spare all the place for their sakes. Then Abraham answered and said, Indeed, now I, who am but dust and ashes, have taken it upon myself to speak to the Lord. Suppose there were 5 less than the 50 righteous, would you destroy all of the city for lack of 5? So he said, If I find there 45, I will not destroy it. And it spoke to him yet again and said, Suppose there should be 40 found there. So he said, I will not do it for the sake of 40. Then he said, Let not the Lord be angry, and I will speak. Suppose 30 should be found there. So he said, I will not do it if I find 30 there. And he said, Indeed, now I have taken it upon myself to speak to the Lord. Suppose 20 should be found there. So he said, I will not destroy it for the sake of 20. Then he said, Let not the Lord be angry, and I will speak but once more. Suppose 10 should be found there. And he said, I will not destroy it for the sake of 10. So the Lord went his way as soon as he had finished speaking with Abraham, and Abraham returned to his place. We did it. We're done. Okay. I didn't get a lot of the meanings behind it, or like as I was reading, sometimes I would be zoning out and stuff. But I think I'm going to try to listen back on this video and understand more of it. But yes, we can cross off our reading for Genesis 16 through 18, January 5th. We did it. Good job, guys. Amen. Wait, let's go back to it. Amen and amen. We did it. Read it. We read it. But yeah. Alright. This is a time where we can discuss, talk about. I think I read all the comments. Whatever you guys want. I guess I will talk about my day if no one else wants to chime in. Today I ate and I went to give plasma, and then I came back and worked on my van a little bit. I ate more and then snacked, I guess. And then after that I went to church and came back, talked to my boyfriend, and then started trading. That was my day. How was yours? Have you yourself turned away from God after your own revelation, or are you just defending an idea that doesn't have any bearing whatsoever to you personally? Slopes Avenue. Yeah, I do start to think about how it might not be like that mentioned in the Bible about like hallucinations and stuff like that I've had. I start to wonder about, does it give an account for like the mentally ill and those? I'm sure it does. And that's one of the reasons why I keep my faith, and that like God knows everything. There's nothing new under the sun, pretty much. I mean, that God doesn't know about, at least. So no, I haven't turned away from God after my own revelations. We should look that up. That would be an interesting opener of where in the Bible it says like hallucinations, delusions, paranoia, like all that. There's a lot of fear. Like fear can be like one of the things that that it accounts for. At least that's in there. And sometimes fear can feel like anxiety. So that's in there. If that's what you meant, I don't know. I don't know how much you know about my mental health, but yeah, it did shake me a little bit. Definitely shook me because of some of the preachers that would be really putting it down, I guess. Like putting it that it's bad and only bad people do that or whatever it is. So that made me rethink about where I should be going to church at, you know? But yeah, thanks everyone for joining me. It's been a wild ride. Tune in tomorrow where we shall have another Bible reading. And I'll talk to you then. Bye.